Hi, welcome to Happy Tales. I'm Cheryl Rosenthal, Communications and Education Coordinator at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
And I'm Joni Geiger, Executive Director.
And today, Joni, we're going to talk about older pets.
Right.
Older animals that we see here at the shelter, why it's a good idea, good idea to adopt an older pet, the benefits of having an older pet, and maybe some things that people can do to hang on to their older pets and make the end-of-life experience a little easier for the pet and for the family.
You bet.
So that's where we're going to start.
That sounds good, Cheryl, and I think that we should probably share with our audience that, you know, we are seeing an increase of older pets that come through the shelter here, both cats and dogs. And we know the economy obviously has some things to do with that. Obviously with older pets sometimes comes some medical challenges, and keeping our pets healthy is very, very important, as you're well aware. And so I think it's kind of nice to know that there is a resource, and that's us. However, we also want to encourage people that might be considering a pet at the shelter, why maybe they should look at an older pet and the benefits to adopting an older pet. So why don't we talk a little bit about that as far as like, cats and dogs, what you might consider some of the benefits?
Well, for me, one of the benefits is with puppies and kittens, there's a lot of training involved. Litter box training, scratching, just energy level. I oftentimes think when I'm with school groups, I love the first and second graders, but I don't know if I could handle a first or second grader for a full day at a time. And so when I'm looking at puppies and kittens, they're awfully fun to play with. But for 24/7, that's a little more energy than what I want to have in my household. Older pets are always eager to please. They're easy to train. There's that old wives' tale, can't teach an old dog new tricks, and that really isn't true.
It's not true at all.
Animals, just like you and I, if you're open to it, you can continue learning all of your life. And the same is true with our pets. And that includes cats and dogs. And so, we do have some animals that come into the shelter that have baggage.
Sure.
Maybe they didn't have training when they were younger, but that doesn't mean that those behaviors can't be modified. But the majority of these animals, they're very calm. They know how to act. They have, they're just more settled and easier to adapt.
And I know, even for my lifestyle, I work a lot of, we both work a lot of hours. We're older ourselves.
No.
Yeah, we are. And the truth is that even for me, I love animals. And of course, I'm always going to have animals in my life, but I'm really past that puppy and kitten stage. I really, when I think about bringing an animal home, I want somebody that's a little bit more mature, somebody that has, just like you said, has some training behind them and is more settled and is really going to adapt well to my lifestyle, because when I get home, I don't want to be jogging 3 miles with my dog, and a walk is great, but but the truth is
somebody that's going to be active, and that's the thing is different animals that just like people.
Sure.
I know people that are old at 40.
Right.
And,
good point.
And I know people that at age 70 are very young and very active.
Sure.
And the same is true with animals in general. Some black labs don't ever settle down. They're puppies for their entire lives. And then there's other labs that they hit that age of 5 and they're like, okay, I know I can still go duck hunting and do some of the hunting things and running and play fetch.
Sure.
But you know what? On a cold, rainy day, I'm happy just to watch a movie with you.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of benefits. And of course, especially for homeless animals and the animals that we see coming in, again, due to the economy, these are wonderful, ready-made pets that will make wonderful companions for anyone that's willing to give them a chance.
Sure, you bet. And then I think the other thing, too, that we want to think about, too, is just that, who are the people that may consider adopting older animals? Yes, you said it yourself, there's sometimes baggage that comes with any animal, and maybe older animals might have some physical issues that have to be dealt with and so on and so forth. But I think people have to recall or remember that there is you know, when you adopt an older pet, you know, you're actually, you know, anytime you do in a shelter, you're saving a life.
Right.
You know, and old doesn't mean unadoptable. Old doesn't mean you shouldn't have another chance
Right.
to live out your life.
And I'm just going to be real blunt. Old doesn't mean that they're going to die tomorrow.
Right.
Truth be told, we have had incidences from people outside the shelter and people that have adopted from the shelter that they have gotten a kitten or they have gotten a puppy or some young animal and they had some unforeseen illness or they became victim of some very unfortunate circumstances where their lives were cut short.
Sure.
And so there is no guarantee of how long you're going to have a pet. And I think we always believe that here at the Humane Society. It's not always quantity, it's quality of life.
Quality is everything.
And these older animals have a lot of love, affection, and quality of life that they're just ready and willing to share with a new family. And that's what's so wonderful about animals. Animals don't live in the past. They live in the present. And yeah, those owner-surrendered animals, it takes them a little while to break that bond, but then it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready for a new family.
Sure.
And you can see it when they see that right person. I think a lot of times the animals here at the Humane Society sometimes choose their new owner.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I have a dog at my house that I chose, and I have another dog at my house that chose me.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. And so when people come in, I just would hope that anybody hoping to adopt from a shelter would look at that lifelong commitment and be open to, it doesn't have to be a puppy or a kitten. Right. It has to be, who's the right match for me?
That's right. That's absolutely true. Well, why don't we share with some of our viewers, you know, some of the great older pets that we have here in the building.
So are we going to show some of them?
We are.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, ready? Go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
All right, this is Cash. And Cash came to us as a stray, and when he came in, we could tell that he was older because he has kind of cloudy eyes. He also had severe ear infection and a urinary tract infection.
Yes, he was.
So when we get in dogs that are strays, we always try to do the very best that we can for them.
Sure.
And you know, maybe people want to know how we guess what their age is.
Right.
And we do that by their teeth.
Right.
By the wear that's on the teeth, the amount of tartar and that type of thing. And so, of course, we gave him medication to get rid of the urinary tract infection, and also had him, you know, totally checked out for, and also treated the ear infection.
Right.
So
he's also got a paralyzed larynx, and that could have been just, you know, by a number of things. It might have just been hard to say, you know. You hate to speculate.
You know, there are sometimes, you know, he might have been tied outside and could have run to the end of the chain and done something.
Absolutely.
Maybe he was a puller, and
you just never know.
So, you know, but that is not, again, that is not something that is life threatening.
Nope, not at all. In
but
fact,
it's
that's
something
one of the reasons he's
that he pants all the time. So we're guessing that he's about 12 years old, and a dog like this can probably live another, what, 2 or 3 years? Or?
Oh, sure. He's
longer.
really, actually, we did do, you know, a geriatric panel on him, and
blood work.
Yes, we did blood work on him, and he actually all his levels were normal. So you know, he's actually really in good shape. His heart is in good shape. He's a little shaky in the back leg there, so he might need some, you know, possibly some aspirin or Rimadyl pain meds, that type of thing. But you know, I think Cheryl. My point with this is that he, you know, he's older, and in fact, he's probably more on the geriatric side than he is, you know, older. But you know, just because he is doesn't mean that, you know, whatever time he has left he doesn't deserve to have a home environment and be with somebody.
Right.
And so, you know, this is one of those things where it does take special people to say,
Right.
you know what, it's going to be a shorter period of time,
Right.
the likelihood.
But in the time that you have him, he's going to make somebody a
Right.
wonderful companion.
Right, absolutely.
Because he does like to be with people.
He does. He's
And,
very social. He likes people, you know. His eyes are a little
and,
cloudy.
You know, and I'm all for it. You know, I like to take shorter walks
Yeah,
instead of those
yeah.
long hikes in the wood. I'd be open to,
Yeah.
you know, those types of things.
So he's really, you know, so it's kind of one of those things where, like, you know, we are asking special people to step up and come in and
Right.
consider, you know, giving him a home. And he does like other dogs, or at least he's, you know, most other dogs. There's some that he doesn't if they're intact or that type of thing. But, you know, for the most part, you know, there's somebody out there. So
There's somebody for everybody
Yeah.
if given enough time, and
Yep.
that's what we want to do for all the animals that come to our
Right.
shelter, is give everybody that chance
Right.
to find that somebody special
Sure.
that
Sure.
they can spend the rest of their lives with.
you bet.
So,
So, okay, well, let's move on to the next one.
okay.
All right.
Okay, we have another little dog, Joni, that is currently in foster care right now, and his name is Teddy. And Teddy is a Maltese Yorkie mix. He kind of looks, he's got reddish hair.
Right.
He's really
and,
cute.
And obviously, we're going to show some pictures of
Yep, we're
Teddy
going to show
so
some pictures
people
of him.
can see what
and,
he looks like.
He's about 10 years old. And the reason Teddy is in foster care is when Teddy came in, he had ear infections in both of his ears and a very serious skin condition, which we are in the process of figuring out that it is some type of allergy. And so Teddy's in a foster home where I understand he's doing really wonderful.
Really
they
wonderful.
have other dogs in the foster home. They have other types of animals also. I believe they have cats, and he's very respectful and doing very well with the big dogs that
Totally
are there.
house trained. Just a great fit, actually.
Right, just
Yeah.
a really good all-around dog. But as in foster care, foster homes, the idea of fostering is it's temporary housing until we can find permanent placement for these animals. So Teddy is available for adoption.
He is.
But he is going to require
A special
a
diet.
special diet for his skin condition.
Right.
And for some people that, you know, it may sound kind of scary, but a lot of times once you've started on a special diet, you can find that it's very easy. I have a cat that's on a special diet, and we just feed him separate, and it's gradually worked its way into our budget. It's not extreme, you know, it's not like I'm feeding a lobster every day.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of our viewers actually, I know I'm certainly familiar with my dog having mild allergies, and I think a lot of people see that from time to time. You know, they'll get hot spots or those type of things. So I don't think it's as uncommon as people think it
Right,
is.
right.
But in the case of Teddy, it's a little bit more severe.
Right, his is quite severe. And I think it's important for people to remember that when animals have these types of medical conditions, animals don't exhibit pain and discomfort the same way that you and I do. And so oftentimes people will say, well, he's not scratching, or he doesn't seem to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Animals don't do that, because to show vulnerability or weakness, in the animal kingdom, you become lunch.
Right.
Well, not necessarily lunch,
Yeah,
but
for-
you know,
not in our
you're
area,
the
but-
weakest link. And so it's important to understand that seeking medical treatment for these things is very important, again, to their quality of life.
Sure.
Having an ear infection, just imagine if you had an ear infection, Joni, that was left untreated for
Right.
a number of months.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very painful.
I can't even imagine.
yeah.
You know, or a itch that you can't scratch. You know.
Well, or you can't, or you scratch so much that you
Yeah.
have scratched yourself raw.
Sure, sure.
And so the last time I saw Teddy, he is growing a new coat.
Beautiful. Just
And
looks
very
lovely.
shiny and silky. And so here again, here's a little dog that came in as an owner surrender and has some medical issues. But again, he deserves to have that next new home that new home that's going
Right.
to look out for him.
Right. I think it's important, too, to mention that, you know, we do see a lot of senior pets here, you know, and we see them sometimes because people surrender them, and it might be an issue that they're moving, or they've got too many pets, or you know, there's a number of reasons why people surrender, but we also see a significant number of older pets that are strays. And that's disturbing. That's disturbing for me, and I think that's disturbing, I think, for our staff.
Right.
You know, and you have to ask yourself or scratch your head and go, how does a 13-year-old cat get out of doors?
Right.
Or, you know, how does an 11-year-old dog, you know, wander away? So, and the truth is that these animals at one time belonged to people, because
Right.
the fact is they're social, they're friendly, they're, you know, they're obviously house pets at one time or another. But I think the fact is that maybe people are afraid to bring them to the shelter, or afraid to step forward and say, this is my animal and I need to bring it to you. But there is some wonderful, wonderful advantages to knowing a history.
Right. Right.
And let's talk about that. Let's talk about how important that history is for that pet.
Well, any animal that comes into the Humane Society, they always get a preliminary medical exam.
Sure.
And then after they have had their preliminary medical exam, we also do a canine or felinality test. We learn about their temperament and their personality. And when an animal comes in to us as a stray, first of all, state law requires that we hold that animal for 7 days before we can put it up for adoption, because we want to make sure that we're allowing enough time for the owner to claim that animal. But when an animal comes into us as a stray, we don't know what are their fears. Are they good with other dogs?
Right.
Are they afraid of cats? Are they good with cats? Are they good with children? Do they have any medical issues?
Right. And what is their medical history?
Right. I mean, if a dog comes in as a stray and it has a heart condition, unless he's wearing a tag that says, I have a heart condition, we're not necessarily going to know that when the animal comes through the door. The things that are very obvious, like an ear infection or a flea infestation,
visual.
or a
Right.
broken leg, things that we can visually, that are tangible, that we can put our hands on. But in the case of some animals, maybe there is a dog that comes in that has a known allergy to chicken or wheat or whatever. But we don't know that because they're a stray.
Right.
So we don't know anything about that animal. So we're starting from ground zero, where if we get an owner-surrendered animal and we know, well, this dog is good, dog or cat is good with children, but older children, maybe 5 and up.
Right.
Or it doesn't do well with other cats, but it does well with dogs.
Right.
Or it can
Or
live
walks
with,
well on a leash, or doesn't, or
right,
you know,
or
all
knows
the-
basic commands,
Right.
or chews up his chew toys, prefers Kong toys, afraid
Sure.
of the rain, doesn't
Sure.
want to step on the grass. All those things are so imperative, and it's a wonderful stepping stone for us. It helps us give this pet the advantage of finding that new home,
Right.
because it's easier for us to make a match when we have all that information
all the
together.
information, right?
So,
Yeah,
so it's really
absolutely.
important that that these animals, if possible, come to us as an owner surrender. And here again, I just want to interject also, Joni, we are such a vast resource of information. If somebody is thinking, I have to get rid of my dog because I can't deal with the behavior, or something else is going on, please call us. Let us help you. Let us see if we can find some resources for you, so that you don't have to give up your
Right,
pet.
right.
That you can work with this behavior,
Sure.
or you know, we can't
Right.
do the
In
medical.
other words,
but-
exhaust all the possibilities
Right,
first, you know.
right.
And, you know, so that's important for people to know that those resources are out there for them. So we
Right.
do encourage them
Right,
to call.
and our job is not to judge people.
No.
Our job is to work with the people.
That's why we're here.
Yep, we're here for the people, and we're here for the animals.
Right.
We want to
Right.
do what's best for them,
Sure.
and we want to help owners do what's best for their
You bet.
pet,
Right.
to the best of our ability.
Well, Cheryl, let's you know, we showed a couple of dogs.
Dogs,
Now
yep.
let's maybe move on to some of the older cats that we have.
Okay, the cats that we
okay?
get in.
All right.
Life's funny. I never thought I'd end up at a shelter. But then again, neither did you. Life's funny.
All right, we're here now with Edna, and Edna is a beautiful tiger kitty that came into us as a stray. She is, we're estimating that she's about 13 years old. She's a little afraid of loud noises, but as you can see, she's doing the head butts here, and she's
Yeah.
liking all this attention. So Edna would like a quiet retirement home.
Yes, she would.
She does well with other cats. She lives in gallery number 5.
Right, and she actually came in with another cat. The person brought her in, and her story is, we don't know how true this is, but her story is that literally some people moved away in the neighborhood and just put these 2 cats out.
Oh.
Yeah, so, you know, that's pretty sad. It's
Yeah,
pretty sad.
it really is.
So she came in with Phyllis.
It would be like my husband moving and leaving me on the curb.
He's probably been tempted to do that a time or two.
But you can see she's very affectionate and
Yes.
very loving. And I think it's important for our viewers to remember that cats that are age 13, any cat can live now to be 18 to
Oh, yeah.
22
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
old.
Absolutely.
So she can be very affectionate, very loving,
Yeah.
and just in need of a home.
Yeah, absolutely. So nice gal, real nice gal. So let's move on to someone else then. And I think the next one that we're going to bring up is going to be Yoda.
Yoda.
So
okay.
how about if I get Yoda? Why don't you put Edna down?
All right.
Okay then.
All right, this is Yoda.
Yes.
Yoda is a big boy.
Yeah, a little bit too big a boy.
Yeah, he weighs about 23 pounds.
Yeah.
He's been losing a little weight since she's been here at the shelter. And he came in with his friend Earl. Their owner surrenders. Again, the owner was moving, and it happened quite suddenly that the cats came in. But they're both, I believe, 7.
Yes.
About 7 years old. So that's not old. That's not even
No,
middle-aged,
no,
really, for
no,
a kitty.
No. Younger than we are.
Yeah, they're younger than we are. Well, we're older than dirt, so.
Yeah.
But again, a very nice kitty. Can be playful. Enjoys the company of other cats.
And I think it's important to also tell people that, they're not used to this room. So
Right.
there's a little bit of fear going on here. A little
They're
bit
camera
of,
shy.
Yeah,
They're
and
camera
so
shy.
in all
So-
fairness, we brought these guys to us instead of going to
Well,
them.
and this is what's so wonderful about our galleries. When you come in to look at our cats, you get to go in the different galleries and spend time with the cats. You're going into their territory, and what we did for the show today is we brought the cats out of the territory that they are comfortable in, and being in the education room here is very frightening to them. So, it takes them a while to warm up.
Yeah,
So remember that when you come to the shelter, come on in and visit the kitties in their galleries.
Sure.
And learn more about them.
Right. And so why don't we show someone else then,
All right.
Cheryl, okay?
Who do we have?
All right. So who do we got here, Cheryl?
This is Precious, and
Hi,
she is what's called a dilute tortie. Or a dilute calico, because she does have white on her. I stand corrected. She's a very pretty little girl, and she's going to run off. When you want her to stay, she never does. She is about 9 years old, and her owner was moving someplace that doesn't allow cats, and that's how Precious happened to come here.
Precious.
She is what we call here at the Humane Society a greeter cat.
Okay.
She
Spit it with
is.
take off.
She's roaming the lobby.
She's roaming the lobby.
She is literally a greeter. She does very well with people, coming in, touching her, petting her. She's not a door dasher, and of course, in order to be a lobby cat, you also can't have any litter box issues or aggression issues. So again, just because she's 9 years old doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve a home and isn't adoptable. I have also seen Precious on occasion batting toys up and down the hall. So again, it's so important to remember that older animals, they play.
Yeah.
They will still play. And I don't know, Joni, sometimes we get so busy in our lives, we don't take time to play, and we forget to play with our pets. And when you forget to play with your pets kind of go, okay, well, I won't do anything either.
Right, exactly.
So it's really
Very true.
important. We have toys always in the lobby that they have there batting around, or sometimes even just an old crinkled piece of paper. And I love watching the greeter cats find something and they're batting it around down the halls and just making the most of it.
Sure. And I think you make a valid point too. too. Like our greeter cats, I mean, we have a lot of traffic that people traffic that comes in every single day, and people of all shapes and sizes, and children, and all kinds of different things. And so it does take a special personality to kind of be out front here, and to, you know, frankly, be petted a lot and stroked,
Right.
and you know, because I mean, kids go right to them because
Right.
they're free roaming. So you know, that's pretty normal behavior. So, and the fact that, you know, 9 years old, and I think we have a greeter cat that's 15, Rhodey.
Yes, Rhodey is 15.
And you know, I think that says a lot about who they are and their personalities, and the fact that, again, old just doesn't mean they're not adoptable.
Right, right. Well, and unfortunately, Joni, all of us are going to get old.
Right.
And I would hope that as I get older, somebody will give me a second chance, you know, should I need a home, or,
Yeah.
you know, it's just take a look at these older pets and see the value,
See the value. Good
that
point.
they have.
Yeah, that's really a good point. Yeah, I think that they're so often is, you know, I mean, we shouldn't be a one-dimensional society where we're just going kittens and puppies or young animals, or, you know, we really need to expand that and look at that differently, and just, and see the value in age and experience, and you know, and wisdom.
Right.
Because there really is. And unfortunately.
And it's a lot of fun. I have 2 older cats. One is 13 and one is 11. And I just marvel at the fact that they sleep a lot. But the other night I went upstairs and I kept hearing this noise, and I'm like, what is that? What is that? They had found an old toy, and they were batting it back and forth at each other under the bed. And it just makes you smile that,
Yeah, it
you know,
does. Absolutely.
that they still play.
There's
they still
quality of
wanna
life
be,
there. Absolutely.
Yep, and we all
Yeah.
want quality of life.
Sure.
So-
And I think the last kitty that we're going to look at is Jack. And
Jack,
Jack has
okay.
been here, I think he's 6 or 7 years old, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
he's 6.
He came in as a stray, and he came in, I think, in September. And
Yes, he
really,
did.
really a nice guy. Really
He's
a
fun.
nice kitty.
He's a fun kitty.
So I'm just going to bring him over,
okay.
Cheryl.
He's busy looking out the window right now,
Yes,
and we're
she's
going to
chucking
bring him
things
over so that
Hey, buddy. Hi, handsome. Hi, handsome.
Jack is what's called a tuxedo cat. He's always dressed for a formal affair.
Yes, he is.
So, and again, all of our greeter cats, they do well with other cats, because that also is a kind of a prerequisite when you're a greeter kitty. You need to be very tolerant of the others
Sure.
that are roaming around. So this is Jack.
Yeah, and Jack's really a nice guy. He's really a handsome fella. And, you know, again, these guys, you know.
We have so many wonderful cats.
So many. And dogs. We have
And
some
dogs.
wonderful, wonderful cats and dogs. And, you know, humane societies are so blessed to have some of these great animals, and we get the privilege of getting to know them, and certainly we want to encourage people to come in and adopt.
Come in and get to know these animals,
Okay.
and think about giving them a new home. So, well, Joni, I've had a lot of fun meeting some of our cats
Yep.
and dogs that are available for adoption, and I hope our viewers have too. And until next time,
Happy tales to you.